Hello there, Sir from 17 once again. This is my Dishonored 2 very hard ghost walkthrough. This is mission 7, this is a crack in the slab. This is my least favourite mission in the game. I'm going to say that with a footnote to say that I think this mission is awesome. We saw it at E3 where he was using the timepiece to look through time and swap between two periods, and it looked quite awesome. And then when you play it, it's a good idea, but I just never had too much fun with it. The puzzle solving aspects are really cool, I like that, but the stealth does nothing for me. And I think the main reason why I have such an aversion to it is because it forces you not to use Blink. And I love Blink. Blink is the reason I play Dishonored. I've mentioned it several times, and this level does not let you blink. So this is as close as what it will be to doing the stealth playthrough without supernatural powers. And if this is any indication of it, it's just not a fun run for me. So the notion of this is quite simple. The timepiece has an ability where you press X, because when you press X on things, it does shit in this game, and everything's press X, which is awesome. So when you're trying to pick stuff up, you press X, and instead you fuck with your watch, which is great. But when you do that, it shows you what's on the other time period. And using situational awareness and this ability to see through time, you want to be flipping between the two periods to make progress through this mansion. And there will be certain environmental things that stop you in one time zone that won't be open in the other time zone. And you can kind of make good progress just by following your instincts with it. Most of this is kind of simple and okay, but there is one room coming up which is a nightmare. And it's the room with the combination in it, the room with the wall safe that you have to open. And the reason that room is tough is because in the past, there's about 10 guards in that room. And then in the present, there's a bunch of dogs and bloodflies and those weird Lord of the Flies guys. It's just a mess. It's a lot of dudes and you can't blink. And it culminates in a very frustrating experience. And my first time through this game, it was incredibly demoralizing figuring it out, because it didn't feel like it flowed or that it made any sense. And a lot of the solutions are pretty simple, but if you get put in a bad situation, it doesn't feel simple at all. It feels rather hellish. And there's one part of it that I severely disagree with, and I couldn't seem to figure out a better way, and that was opening the door with the combination. Because there's two people at the doorway who are trying to open it with their backs to you facing the doorway. Then they move, one guy wanders off, and the other guy stands in such a position that you can never get to the door, and he never moves. He never ever moves. And I sat there for 5 to 10 minutes and he never moved. There may be a way to make him move, or some kind of scripted sequence that makes him move. Maybe he's not meant to stand there. But what I can tell you, folks, is if he stands there, you have no opportunity to put the code in. Because there's absolutely nothing you can do outside of rolling dices with distractions to get to it. Which leads us to the solution that you're going to see me do, which is I'm going to grab a glass tumbler and throw it, and that's when the game gets bizarre and broken and silly, because everybody goes onto their little alert paths, and their alert paths are random, so there's no controlling it. It doesn't feel clean at all. It feels really, really messy. And I hate the fact that I have to do that, but I can't find any other way of doing it, because the level is designed in such a very meticulous way that it feels like a massive cock block, a massive progress stopper. Like right now, this next section has a fantastic puzzle. In the past, there's a desk that you can go underneath. In the present, it's like a cutout of concrete that you can get into this room with it. That's a cool idea. In this area, there's a bunch of bloodflies stopping progress. In the past, there's a dead dog that attracted all the flies. So you grab the dog, you burn it in the furnace, and there are no longer any bloodflies in the future. So there's this wonderful manipulation of time to do these interesting mechanics and do these puzzles, and this stuff feels wonderful. And then you get to that one room with 20 dudes and a bunch of dogs, and it's just not fun. Really, really tricky stuff. But if you go to the future, you can get the code, come back to the past, and you can put it in and get what's in the safe. Lots of interesting stuff to do here, a really, really nice, well thought out sequence of puzzle solving which feels fun, and it feels quite fresh because we don't see that much time manipulation these days. And I really, really like that. But the section coming up, which we're about to get to now, this is where the difficulty lies. It's this room and onwards. So this room has 2 dogs in it. And then in the past, it has a lot of people. So I throw a glass over there because I want to go up this mound of dirt and I want to climb over the balcony because I know this room very well thanks to suffering in it for so long. And the dogs can smell you, and they can also see you at some ridiculous ranges, so be very, very careful. But this is the place where shit gets goofy. So do you see those 2 guys near the safe of the wall, or wherever it is, that combination thing? I'm going to save in here, and I'm going to go through time and pick up that tumbler. When you grab this tumbler, you've got 2 glasses to do this, by the way. That's going to make everyone in that room kind of wander around towards the noise. Now, if we had the combination, we could hit this number when they walk away, and we would be able to get through the door. But this is at the point where I was experimenting to see if the 871 code that I got on one playthrough would work, and it didn't. So I recommend do not throw the glass there, guys. Don't do it. Because you need the combination first. Getting the combination is not so bad. Run towards the Bloodflies, immediately turn, and then hit that door before anybody sees you. If you're fast enough, the guard will never be alerted to you, and the Bloodflies will not bite you. And then we just have to come through here. So it's at this point where I realised I've taken a tiny scrap of damage, but I don't know why. And did you see when I ate that piece of fruit? My life didn't go up, but that weird line went away. So there's some kind of chip or minuscule damage that you can take. I don't understand it, but for the purist, the no damage run is done, but I still feel like I no damaged the game, so I'll let you be the deciding factor of that, because I'm happy with what I did. But move through here in the present, and then as soon as you get to this nest, turn it to the past, drop down onto the lip of this weird thing here. It's like conservatory or whatever it is. Grab the code and immediately fall back off the ledge. Do a safety save just in case if you need to, and now we can progress back into the room and we can get the combination in the door. So the new combination is, what is that, 374? And then that leads us to the second problem that I have with this level. When you interact with things in Dishonored 2, it doesn't save the state of the world. It doesn't freeze the state of the world either. So people are still patrolling when you're doing it. And this leads to issues, because you can't do the combination quickly. It's physically impossible because the dial only moves so quickly, and you can only move 1 dial at a time, and you have to move each dial a bunch of times. So it's not only is it a completely random series of pathfinding for the AI as they walk around looking for a disturbance, but you have to do a super arbitrary flicking of the combination because you can't just go into a menu and pop it in. Or they could have had X does the first digit, Y does the second digit, and B does the third digit. So you could be doing all 3 at the same time and you could get through super fast. No, you've got to do it individually like a tit. And did I mention that the detection on your tiny dot on the screen to press X on things is not the best? So you might be trying to put in a combination and your dude flicks his watch up and down. Or you might try and move to the right to do the middle one and the detection's still on the left one, so you fuck up the number. It's a nightmare. An absolute nightmare. But hopefully you'll have no issue, guys, because as I've mentioned, this is 100% indicative of what the AI does, and there's no way of controlling it when you throw that glass. The moment you throw that glass, you have signed up to a carnival of silliness, because it just gets really weird. And I get a super good pattern here. It looks easy, but it's not. Trust me, guys, so you need to safety save for this, because it gets really stupid. But I'm going to climb back up here. Be careful of Lord of the Flies, man. His awareness is just like the soldiers, but he generally just patrols and doesn't bother you too much. And we're going to do the same thing I did before we got the combination. I'm going to go into that little side area. I'm going to go through time, pick up the glass, throw the glass in the middle of the room, and then I'm going to go save at the door, wait for the people to piss off, and then I'm just going to commit to the combination. And it works. But something weird happens. A guy starts to see me as the door opens, and then the detection disappears as if he's gone blind. and I don't know why it does that. So you're going to see me check to make sure that I didn't set off an alarm or an alert or get spotted, and the options don't lie, so we're good. But come up to here, travel through time, make sure you save, and then put your combination in. And look how excruciating this combination is. Oh my god. People are actively looking for you too, and if they see you, it's up to them. And you see what happened then? There was a lightning bolt on the bottom of the screen. The door opened, and then it went weird. Weird. But we did it, guys. We didn't get spotted either. And for some reason, I'm getting bad reception on my timepiece. But once you come in here, there's going to be a bunch of exposition. I imagine I will be trimming some of this out. One would hope so, anyway. As I move through this area into the area where the seance is. So this is getting across a piece of information of a weakness in Delilah, who is of course the antagonist of the game. And the game does a good job of giving you a lot of information about Delilah, but a lot of it involves reading. And if you don't read a lot of the text files, you will miss a lot of the nuance and the subtleties to her character. Which I think is an interesting way of storytelling. But that just then, folks, you know, getting into this room, it looked easy, didn't it? I threw a glass, I travelled through time, I put a combination in, ding dang do. Figuring out the path to do that, and actually doing that, is a work of art. Trust me, it isn't as easy as it looks. And if you find it really easy, you either got incredibly lucky, or you're just an absolute beast, because it is not easy at all. And I can't convey how much I struggled there. And speaking of struggling, I'm going to struggle now too. So, can you remember when I threw a glass earlier to get the dogs out of my way? Now the dogs are in an awkward position for me to get out of the house. And I don't know that many paths out of this house, so I couldn't find a super great way of doing it. And every path I chose, the dogs kept smelling me and seeing me and being assholes. So you're going to see me move around, check a couple of different positions, none of them worked, and then I'm going to come back to the elevator that's on this floor, and then I'm going to get out via that method, and I'm going to use the timepiece to flick between two times rather quickly to circumvent the dogs. And once again, folks, it's going to look really easy, really simple, but getting to that point was a lot of trial and error, because I kept getting caught by the dogs with everything I tried to do, and all I wanted was a distraction to throw to get the dogs away, but there was nothing I could find to throw. And the timepiece does this really strange thing where if you pick up a glass bottle in the future and you go back to the past, it doesn't come with you. Yet I'm holding a fucking knife that does. And the coins that I pick up in the past come back to the future. The loot I pick up in the past comes back to the future. Like, I don't get it. So I'm just checking the patrols. Once this guy moves past the elevator, he's going to give us a way out, I think. I think that's where I've put the transition. And the elevator's not going to take us anywhere good. I thought it might have been able to put us on a roof, something like that, but it doesn't seem to work that way, so I call the elevator. The footage looks a little different because no one's here. That's just because I've trimmed out the 10 minutes of me trying other paths and none of them working. And then I decide to go via the elevator and see if any goodness comes from this. And it does, but it just puts us in the same area we were in, just at a different height, which is unfortunately what elevators do. So we're now going to be in like a wine cellar, and this is going to give us an interesting vantage point on that room in the middle, which is what we're going to use to get out, because going through that room in the past is really tricky, because there's like 4 dudes that all sit up against walls and they don't move. And that's one of the things that I had the toughest time with when I was trying to figure this game out. I'm so used to stealth games having set patterns and patrols and fully learning those patrols and exploiting them. Whereas in this game, there are moments where they don't do what they're supposed to do, and they just stand there. And I think it's a bug, but I hate being the guy that accuses game designers as a bug, because a lot of the times, it's just the game's way of doing what the game does. But there are certain moments, like when a guy's walking into a wall, where you have to imagine that something's not triggering like it's supposed to. And this is a dog, by the way. So I'm going to push forward here, and I'm going to turn time just as he starts to see me. And then I'm going to keep moving forward, and the moment I see anybody see me, I'm going to turn time back, and I'm going to pray that I'm past the dog, and I am. So save right now, because that doesn't look like much, but those dogs are a nightmare to get past. But break the the door, and now we can focus on getting out of this mansion and finishing up arguably one of the hardest missions in the game, because it's completely bereft of Blink, and Blink is that much fun and that powerful. So going through time here, there's a chance you could get spotted by the people in this room, so immediately mash on that clock to get back in the past, because we know at this point in the house there's no threats, and we're at the gate, we're at the exit, we're done. And what was that, 15 minutes? Looks like nothing, doesn't it? The first time I did this level, finding all these paths, figuring it all out, you're looking at 3 hours easily, and it was a very painful 3 hours too, but I'm happy to say that because of the lessons learned on that arduous journey, we can now get through this level quite easily, even though there is nothing easy about what you just watched. So good luck with it, guys. Hopefully you'll have no issue. You understand that level, you're a beast at it, you knock it out of the park, and then the only thing left to do here is to navigate one area and then get back to Solotov. And we're going to go back the exact same way we came, which means we're going to be blinking back up onto that wooden structure, going back up onto that roof, and then falling off the side of that roof, and then blinking towards where the stairs go down to our exit. And that's the end of one of the hardest missions in the game, because the next mission flows beautifully. Every single part of the next mission is perfect. There's paths, there's things that sync up wonderfully, you can completely get around all the arduous moments in the level, and it feels awesome. And then the mission after that is almost exactly the same. There is such a wonderful measure of flow between geometry and paths and level design, and it all feels like it just moves organically and naturally towards the focal point, which is the assassinations. Whereas this level, every single time I felt like I got any measure of flow, the game kicked me in the balls. And it's the same on the Clockwork Mansion. Every time I felt like the Clockwork Mansion was working in my favour, foot to balls. And it's always the same thing. In the Clockwork Mansion, I managed to get the Clockwork soldiers alerted, so they went on a random path, and they just did whatever it is that they do, and I had 3 soldiers who didn't follow a pattern, and it became a nightmare. On that level that we're on right now, I had people not following patterns, and it was a nightmare. So every single time this game goes into chaos mode, it's just borderline insane. But if you can keep out of that, and you can find a good path, the game feels great. And I can't decide whether or not I like that or not, because as a guide maker and as somebody looking for consistency, it feels awful. But as a player of a game that I want to play again and be consistently challenged, is there anything more challenging than a game that does not follow your expectations? I don't think there is. So it's an interesting mixed feeling for me of I kind of don't like the chaos, but it's the chaos that might keep me coming back. So very interesting choice. Definitely polarizing, but cool, I think, overall. And there you go, guys. That is the end of the mission. Let's check the stats to make sure we got those ticks. I'm sure it'll pop up in a moment, once Corvo's finished speaking. The dude speaks the entire game and says nothing of value. Such a strange voiceover. But there you go, guys. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and 2 ticks. So thank you for watching. You take care now.